When you notice someone is grieving, you can make a difference by reaching out if you know how to do so effectively. Quite often, when someone around us is experiencing grief, we tend to not know what to say or how do we respond to them? How do we support them? My name is Anshul Vash, a Canfield certified success trainer, a certified mental health first aider, an entrepreneur, and recently the author of the best selling book, Success Strategies. If you've watched my last video, I talked about how grief it's not just, the loss of a loved one, a family member, a friend. Grief is simply loss, could be loss of a job, loss of a best friend, loss of a relationship, could be the fact that you are now married and you're happy about that, but at the same time you are still grieving the parts of you that used to be single. And so during this pandemic, there's a lot that has happened. I've had a lot of people personally reach out to me and ask me, hey Anshul, a friend of mine lost their mom and dad. I don't know, how do I talk to her? My uncle passed away. I don't know, how do I talk to my aunt? So today we have 5 tips that are very practical and they make a very profound impact on that person's life. The first step is reaching out to your friend, to your loved one, the person who is experiencing grief. Check in with them occasionally. When someone is grieving, it is often difficult for them to take the initiative to connect and express what they're feeling. As a person that cares about them, don't be intimidated, don't be scared to ask them, how are you doing? Don't be afraid to bring up the name of the person who perhaps this person has lost. Don't be afraid to talk about that grief. Don't be afraid to ask them questions about it. Because chances are, the more we actively create non-judgmental and open spaces for the ones we love and we care for, chances are the faster they will recover because you're actively making them talk about it. That's where healing happens. That's support. So reach out and check in on them occasionally. Number 2, listen without judgment. Respond thoughtfully. Reflect back what the person is saying. This shows active engagement that values what someone is feeling. Please don't rush to offer advice unless you are asked for advice. Or don't tell them what you think they should do. Focus on hearing what they're saying, not on what you want to tell them. A person struggling with grief may just want to be heard and validated. So create that non-judgmental space for them. When they are sharing, when you're asking them questions about the grief, don't pretend, don't say things like, I know, I understand. Please try to avoid using those words because you don't understand. Everybody is different. Create a space for them to speak because the more they will speak, the more they're expressing, they're releasing rather than suppressing and depressing. Create non-judgmental spaces for healing, for talking, for crying, and don't stop them from crying. Allow it, encourage it. Tell them to go for walks. Tell them to dance a little, move a little. This will help them express rather than depress. Number 3, offer space. Grieving is a personal thing. There is no set rule, universal amount of time. While it can be difficult to see a loved one grieving, it is important to step back enough to let someone grieve while they're reflecting and they perform self-care. I know you love them and I know you care for them and you want to do everything for them. Definitely offer that support. But it's important that they're taking care of themselves. So the basics of self-care is important for them to take on. And encourage that. Check in on them. Tell them it's okay. Treat grief not as a problem to be solved, but as a natural process of reflecting and moving forward that varies from person to person. Number 4, help out. Your loved one may be reluctant to ask whether you can help with cooking, cleaning, relaying any information, or something else. But be specific in your offering. This takes the pressure off of someone grieving, letting them know they're accepting help that's freely offered rather than imposing a burden. Help out. We're in this together. And the truth is, we never know when we may need that support. So be there for people. That's number 5. Offer hope. Be sincere, supportive, and patient. You're there to support a loved one through grief, not push them through it. I remember when my twin brother passed away 5 years ago, and this happened here in Toronto, Canada. Everyone was like, be strong for your parents. That is, I want to encourage you to avoid saying that to anybody. You need to be strong for your mother, be strong for your father. What about that person? Chances are, if you empower them to be strong for themselves, take care of themselves, they will be there for their parents, for their friends. So please avoid saying statements like that. Also, I remember when Tushar passed away to suicide, my immediate response was raising awareness for my community. I started hosting community events. I did so many speeches right away. I just wanted to share my message to make sure that this doesn't happen to another family. This doesn't happen to another individual that's not feeling well, that's suffering, probably doesn't understand what they're going through. And a couple of my friends came up to me and told me after 6 months or 8 months, Anshul, I think you should stop talking about Tushar so much. I think this will help you move forward and heal faster. This is a myth. The more you are giving space, creating space for someone to talk about it, chances are they're going to brush off their shoulder and then they're going to feel empowered, they'll feel acknowledged, and they'll be willing to move forward themselves. But the community plays a really important role. On the other hand, if you are someone that's experiencing grief and your community is not supporting you or offering support the way you need, the way your soul perhaps needs in this moment, I want to encourage you to find your community. In my case, losing someone to suicide was not something I'd ever experienced. It left a big hole. And as much as I have incredible friends, incredible parents, and I was out there making sure everyone else is taken care of, I felt empty quite often inside by the end of the day. And so I became relentless in my pursuit of well-being. I went and joined a mental health suicide loss survivor group. And I went there and I used to hear other people's journey with their loss. And somehow that became the community for me that offered so much support, healing, just to listen to them and listen to what they had gone through. So today I run a mental health non-for-profit, and within that I run a program, which is it's an interview series where I interview people that have been through loss, people that have been through grief. And I hear their message and I share it with the rest of the world, because that was instrumental in making me know that I'm not alone and that we are in this together. So I want to encourage you to find your community. You don't have to cut off other people. We can always stay friends and have those people in our life. But it's about your inner circle. It's about the people right now in this moment that are going to meet you where you are at. So if you don't have that, find it. And if you're unable to do that, I want to encourage you to pursue professional help and other supports. There are so many resources available, and recovery is possible. I am with you every step of the way. I want to help. So if you would like to work with me directly, send me an email at info@anshulvash.com. Remember, each of us grieves differently, but we share common ground. There are no universal stages, but it is a process that will take time. We each need a different form of support, but we all need support. These 5 tips will help you be there more effectively for someone experiencing grief. Above all, remember that when you're grieving, we need not only be grieving. In other words, Tamara T. Lotus Hill, she was an individual that I had interviewed for the Mental Health Impact series, the interview series, which is a part of my mental health non-for-profit. She said, the pain of grief and the experience of joy can coexist. So reach out to your friends, reach out to your community who may be experiencing grief. Talk to them. Create non-judgmental space, offer help, offer space, ask questions, even if it may be difficult for you, but it shows that you care enough to make them talk about it. The more we express, the faster we heal. We avoid suppressing and we avoid depressing. So let's continue to reach out. I am with you every step of the way. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I will do my best to address them. If you appreciated this video, like it, share it, tell your friends about it. If you're watching this video through your computer, then you can click on the alert notification below so you don't miss out on any videos as and when they're launched. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. Let's go get it.